Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. October 10th, 2017.
Is it time to end massive billion-dollar tax breaks for the NFL? Okay, my friends, Trump last night, this early this morning, tweeted out that it is time to change the tax laws when it comes to the NFL. And here is the absolute latest. Forget now about the kneeling, the disrespecting of the anthem, the flag, the country. Put all of that off the table. The NFL has got another PR crisis. Now their players have become so arrogant, so full of hubris and pride, that they are now openly disrespecting their fans and starting to behave like felons in the National Felons League. And this just happened in the last 24 hours. So, the Oakland Raiders have a lineman by the name of Donald Penn. And the Raiders have not been doing too well. And they lost again this weekend to the Baltimore Ravens. Well, Donald Penn, who I think is way over 300 pounds, he's a big guy, apparently was confronted by some fans who were heckling him, Raiders fans, who weren't very happy with the way he played and with the way the Raiders played. And so he got out of his car, I swear to you, approached the fans. There's a small metal barricade about waist high blocking him from the other fans who are, taunting him, the Raiders fans, and listen to him just listen to him go. Roll it, Brittany.
Come on, bro. We ain't no. Get off, bro. Get off, 21 mil. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, 21 mil. Come on, bro. Come on, fans. Come back, bro. Come on, bro. 21 mil. Come on, bro. Come on. Hey, bro. If you a player, bro, I'm right here, bro.
I thought he was going to beat him up. I'll be really honest with you when you actually see the full video. So he comes out of his fancy car. There he is. I mean, the guy looks like the Incredible Hulk. He's huge. And he's jabbing his finger at the fans. And it's the N-word. By the way, the N-word, I don't think I've ever heard it so many times. So it's end this, end that, blank you, end this, blank this, end this, back and forth. It went on and on until he finally decided to go back into his car. So now you're openly confronting, screaming and yelling and insulting and verbally abusing the fans. Now, don't get me wrong. The fans are acting like absolute jerks and want to be rappers and gangbangers. I mean, you got to see them, the way they're dressed, the way they act. Their mouths were just as filthy as his. But the difference is, he's making millions of dollars a year. He's supposed to be a professional. He's supposed to be, a member of the National Football League. You're going to deal with insane, crazy, rowdy, vulgar fans. That's the nature of the business. What you don't do is get out of your car and start swearing at them. Talk about a mouth as a gutter, as a moral sewer for a mouth, and stand there and get into a massive verbal altercation that could have easily gotten physical extremely quickly. So now you're telling the fans off? Now you're confronting them in parking lots? So you've got that going on with the Raiders offensive lineman. Then you've got the Miami Dolphins offensive line coach. This one is one for the ages, whereby apparently he was on a video camera back and forth with a stripper in Las Vegas, and I think she's actually more than a stripper, but let that go, who apparently he was partying with when he would meet up with her in Las Vegas. For the purpose of this story, he's white, he's got a goatee, he's white, she's black. You'll understand why it's important in like a minute. So they're going back and forth. He's telling her how much I miss you, baby. I love you, baby. This brings back memories of us together in Las Vegas, baby. And he's snorting. He's got money wrapped up in a circular cone, and he's snorting some white powder substance, looks like cocaine, right up his nose. There it is. I love you, baby. I love you, baby. Oh, I love you, baby. I miss you so much, baby. Reminds me of when we were together in Vegas, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me take one more line. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and he's actually saying this is before a meeting. Now, the shocking thing is, I mean, okay, never mind the cocaine, the snorting just before a meeting inside Miami Dolphins headquarters. Let all that go. Okay, let all that go. She deliberately leaked the video. So this moron, who, by the way, has a wife and kids, they're back and forth. So they're filming each other, talking to each other, and he's getting off, snorting cocaine and reminiscing about how they have when they party together in Las Vegas. And she literally releases the video. She admits this. The story is in the New York Post. Why did she leak the video? To deliberately humiliate this offensive line coach. Why? Because according to her words, not mine, he's white. She's black. She wanted to show solidarity with Colin Kaepernick. I swear to you. And so, how come she says when it's the N-word, they keep using the N-word. I don't know why they always use the N-word, but let that go. So let me clean it up. Why is it that black players, when they take a knee, they get roasted, as she put it, by the media, by the president, by everybody. But when you have white ends, like this guy, snorting cocaine, somehow she says it's okay. So she says she literally betrayed his confidence, even though he was a client and was paying her obviously very well, that she wanted the world to see that it's not just black players that act outrageously, it's also white players that act outrageously. And so in a sign of solidarity with Colin Kaepernick, that's why she wanted to release the video to expose and humiliate this white offensive line coach. I swear to you. I swear to you, you couldn't make this up. In other words, she's a social justice warrior. She did this for the cause. For Black Lives Matter, for Colin Kaepernick, for the whole... So, now, you think about it just objectively. Look, it's her life. She wants to leak it. Is it me? You know, I don't know. Guys, you tell me, because I'm not into that lifestyle. But if I'm with a stripper, and there's obviously more going on than just the stripping, but let that go. She's a client, or I'm a client, and, you know, I'm the customer, and she's the vendor. Okay, let's put it that way. Doesn't she want to keep her clients secret? I mean, isn't that the basis of her whole business? You know, when married men come to you for a quote-unquote good time, let's leave it at that. Don't you want to keep it all secret? Because if you're going to splash it all over the internet, and if you're going to leak it to humiliate people for whatever reason, your own personal or political agenda, honey, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're going to run out of customers. Okay, you're going to run out of people to quote-unquote service. Now, she's willing to obviously compromise her business to make a political point. So you've got offensive line coaches who are on video doing cocaine. You've got players who are now openly confronting fans and almost coming to blows. As I reported last week, you've got players now who are openly giving fans the middle finger or saying, you know, blank off or cursing them, obscenities, profanities, just because the fans are unhappy with the players' performance. Never mind all the kneeling. Never mind all the protesting on the field. Then you add in the domestic violence, the assaults on women, murders, rapes. I could run down the National Felons League. And all of this is paid for ultimately by you and me. You have multi-billionaire owners, multi-millionaire players who are behaving essentially like they're from the ghetto, like they never left the ghetto, the hood, and we're paying for all this? Nearly $7 billion of taxpayer money is given to the NFL for stadiums, infrastructure improvements, tax loopholes, tax benefits. Now, to be clear, the NFL does not have tax-exempt status. It does not. What it does have, however, is an antitrust exemption. They're exempt from the antitrust laws. So they can engage in price gouging. They can engage in all kinds of activities here. Just take what they did at Gillette a couple weeks ago. The vendors ran out of bottled water. I think that's when they were playing the Houston Texans. Very hot day. Sunday, very hot day. So what they did was they put tap water in soda cups. Blank you $4.75. $5 to drink tap water. That's the NFL. It is a monopoly. It is designed to give them antitrust exempt status. They are given massive taxpayer benefits and taxpayer loopholes, huge tax deductions to the tune of nearly $6.5 billion, to the tune of nearly $7 billion. In other words, my friends, you and I are subsidizing this. It's bad enough they're taking a knee. It's bad enough they're spitting in our face. It's bad enough they're behaving like a bunch of thugs and hoodlums. Like a bunch of out-of-control barbarians. But on top of it all, you still got to take our money? No. No. And so now Trump is saying if there's going to be tax reform, let them get rid of the tax benefits, the tax loopholes that benefit the NFL, billions and billions of dollars. And I want to give this guy credit. He is a Republican congressman from Florida, Representative Matt Gaetz. Hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. Gaetz. He now is saying enough is enough. He is sponsoring a bill that will lead to the NFL losing its tax benefits and all of the tax deductions and taxpayer-supported dollars that they have been receiving now for the last several decades. Listen to him saying it's time to rewrite the tax code and end special treatment for the NFL. Roll it, Brittany.
So will you just give us a quick outline of what kind of taxpayer subsidy, in effect, the NFL enjoys?
Sure, the current millionaires and billionaires associated with professional sports leagues, including the NFL, have a tax exemption. They don't have to pay taxes. So that's special treatment that's not afforded to just regular folks in my district or the small businesses on Main Street throughout America. It's my belief that if the Congress is serious about getting rid of the loopholes and special interest giveaways in the tax code in the coming weeks, an easy place to start is by not subsidizing and not giving special treatment to professional sports leagues, particularly when the NFL league office has embraced this unpatriotic behavior.
Bingo. Bingo. I back him, not 100%, not 150%, 1,000%. And let me ask you this. Do you have a lobbyist in Washington, D.C.? Because I don't. What the NFL does have are lobbyists. That's why I say junk this tax code. Make it a much simpler and fairer tax code. Because what they do is all these special interests, and the NFL is one of them, get their lobbyists, pay them a lot of money, and they go in there and get all of these carve-outs, exemptions, and special benefits for their special interest. Paid for by you and me. Now, guys, you want to take a knee? You want to spit on the flag? You want to behave like a bunch of gangbangers and hoodlums? No problem. It's a free country. But from now on, you do it on your dime, not on our dime. It is time to end the special benefits and the special benefits and the special treatment that professional sports leagues get, especially the NFL. I say not one more penny. Agree, disagree. Is it time to end taxpayer subsidies and tax exemptions for the NFL? I say yes. What do you say? 617-266-6868. Should the National Football League pay for itself? Your calls next. Breaking news, I swear to you right now as I speak. Well, guess what, huh? Kuhner country. Guess what? Now with the ratings in the tank, with NFL fans really angry, the backlash growing, guess what? Now they want a new rule in the NFL to mandate that all the players, guess what? Stand for the national anthem. So this is breaking on the wires right now. We're going to discuss it at 2:35, I promise. 617-266-6868. Lines are blazing. Paul in Wakefield. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey, Jeff, I'm wondering, what's the difference between the NFL's public money and welfare's public money? Is there much of a difference?
I'm sorry, Paul. The difference between the NFL's public money and the what?
Yeah, the public money that he's taking out of my wallet.
And welfare? It's corporate welfare. All it is, Paul, is it's corporate welfare.
So Roger Goodell's on welfare?
He's on our money. Corporate welfare, yes. That's what it is.
That's what it is, huh?
So the guy that's been going after the Patriots, the guy that, by the way, I mean, look, Paul, whatever you think about Deflategate, okay? We're talking about underinflated footballs. That's what we're talking about. They suspended him for 4 freaking games, Tom Brady. But these guys can take a knee and disrespect the flag and disrespect the anthem and all those who fought and died for it. No problem. No problem.
And it's a disrespect to me, too.
And we're paying for it, Paul. That's $6.5 billion. That's what the NFL gets when you add everything together. Our money for infrastructure, for renovations on stadiums, for building new stadiums, for all kinds of tax breaks, tax exemptions that the owners get, that the league gets. And remember, they're also given an antitrust exemption. You know, people say, well, they have a tax exemption. That's not true. But they have an antitrust exemption. In other words, they're treated, they're a monopoly, but they're not treated like a monopoly. That's why, by the way, have you noticed? That's why they can charge outrageous prices. That's why they can charge outrageous prices for jerseys. That's why they can, like I said, I made the concession stand example. They want to charge you $5 for tap water. There's no antitrust laws on the book. It doesn't affect them. So they can shaft you and screw you at every turn. But when all of you say, what are you asking for, really? Guys, we're not asking for too much. When I come to a freaking game, act like a professional. Stand up, put your hand on your heart, and, we respect the flag. Especially when you have troops on the field or whatever who are participating as well. It's to honor the dead and the fallen. We're not asking for I don't know what. That's why they're going to try to fix it now. They've got a PR nightmare. I told you, it's breaking right now. We're going to get to it. I think the damage has been done. And that's why I want to pose this question to you, okay? Should the NFL force players to stand for the national anthem? This is now the new rule they want now to be implemented ASAP. And if they do implement this new rule, are you going to go back and watch the NFL, or has the damage been done? 617-266-6868 is the number. Let's take it to Evan Heidrich in the newsroom. 2:36 here on the great WRKO. Okay, now the NFL is in major damage control mode. Huge breaking developments really in just the last 5-10 minutes. First, though, I want to let everybody know this bill that is making its way through Congress, and no matter what, I hope this bill passes, It is being sponsored by a Florida Congressman, Republican, Matt Gaetz. This would deny any tax benefits, taxpayer dollars, to be used to benefit the NFL. As I said, it's almost $7 billion that they have now used, our money, over the last several decades. I'm urging Kuhner country, let's get some real momentum behind this bill, and let's show these spoiled, privileged, multimillionaire thugs in the National Felons League that we've had it. You're not riding our backs anymore. So the number to call, if you want to give your support to Matt Gaetz, Congressman Matt Gaetz, it's 202-225-4136. 202, that's the area code for Washington, 225-4136. And just say you support him all the way, you support his bill on the NFL, and you hope that more Republicans and Democrats will join, and let's end all taxpayer subsidies and special advantages, preferential treatment to the National Felons League. Okay. You knew something was up with the NFL with what happened to ESPN. So if you remember, they have a very controversial sportscaster. She belongs on MS Left BC, not on ESPN, but let that go. Jamil Hill. She was the one, if you remember, who called Trump a white supremacist. So she called the leader of the free world a racist, a bigot, and a white supremacist. On a sports network. Okay, that's what she tweeted out. Well, she got suspended recently. Not just for a day or 2 days, but for 2 weeks. What was her big sin? According to ESPN, she went on social media again, but this time she wasn't calling the president a racist or a white supremacist. She went after Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, because Jones came out and said, if my players don't stand, they're going to get punished, i.e. they're going to get benched. And so to show solidarity with all those taking a knee and protesting our national anthem, Jamil Hill tweeted out that it's time to go after the sponsors of the Dallas Cowboys. It's time to go after the advertisers for the Dallas Cowboys. In other words, you show Jerry Jones we're nobody's slave. We're going to stick it to Jerry and the Cowboys organization by going after the money. Well, now, when you're talking about going after the NFL's money, ESPN makes a lot of money on the NFL. They don't want the money to dry up for the NFL. Then they called in Jamil Hill and took her to the carpet. Then they called her out on the carpet and took her to the woodshed. And so now she's been suspended, I assume without pay, for 2 weeks. Now I want you to think about this. The fact that she glorifies cop killers, no problem. The fact that she herself is an avowed black supremacist, she's a racist herself, no problem. The fact that she calls the leader of the free world a white supremacist, remember, on a sports network, for God's sakes, no problem. But you go after the money in the NFL, you're out. Don't you touch the money. So, now that the ratings are down, and again, Monday Night Football ratings way down. Now that you have stadiums that are half empty. Now that in some cities, I swear to you, their NFL tickets are now going for half the price. Now, all of a sudden, the NFL says, we got a problem. Guess what? They just found Jesus. Now they love the flag. I swear to God. Now they love the national anthem. Now, hey guys, what are you doing? You got to stand, guys. Hey, you got to stand for that anthem. So Roger Goodell, according now, this is from ESPN's Adam Schefter, who apparently has good sources. So I tend to believe this story. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, good old Roger, has now written a letter to all 32 league owners saying that now every player, everyone should stand for the national anthem. According to him, the current disputes over the national anthem is threatening to erode the unifying power of our game and is now dividing us and our players from many fans across the country. In other words, translation, guys, we're bleeding cash. Guys, the peasants are in an uproar. No, guys, it's all about the money. We're losing the money. Well, hold on now. What happened to the First Amendment? What about them? The issue of racism, inequality, cop brutality. This was all about lecturing Americans how racist we all are, and sometimes you got to be made to feel uncomfortable, and that's what the NFL's doing. What happened to their First Amendment rights, guys? The cash flow's a little down, huh? The revenue stream's a little down. Ooh, so all your principles, all of your supposed vaunted ideals and social justice causes, boom, right out the window. I mean, just a bunch of disgraceful hypocrites. So now it's coming out that NFL owners are now seriously, they're going to meet, in fact, next week. They now want a rule change that would make it mandatory for all players to stand during the national anthem. Now, 2 quick points, then I want to go to the phone lines. Number one, it's already in the rule book. If you look at the NFL rule book, it says players must stand for the national anthem. In fact, it even tells them how. Helmet in your left arm and your right hand over your heart. So, they've been violating their own rule book. But let that go. What they're really now going to discuss is this. They're going to force the players. They're going to mandate the players. They're going to coerce the players. And so they're basically going to say, no, forget the rule book now. If you guys do this again, then you're either going to be benched, you're going to be suspended, you're going to be fined. In other words, there is going to be a clear punishment if you do not stand or if you kneel for the national anthem. Now, this is obviously nothing more than a PR stunt. Because if they really cared about the anthem, they would have voluntarily policed their own players. The fact that they're doing this essentially under duress is because they see the backlash, they see the decline in ratings, they see the decline in revenue, they see the decline in viewership, and so now it's Operation Save Our Rear Ends, Operation Save the NFL, Operation Let's Put as much money back in our pockets as we can. Now, I'm going to surprise many of you. I've been saying these players should be standing for the national anthem because it's the right, decent, patriotic, frankly, the human thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. I don't think they should be coerced into doing it. I don't. Like, what? I mean, I want to see Michael Bennett from the Seattle Seahawks stand up for the national anthem when I know he spits on it and spits on the flag. All these guys, Eric Reed from the San Francisco 49ers, who hate this country, hate our flag, hate our anthem, hate everything it stands for. So I have to see players behaving in the most hypocritical, two-faced fashion, only under literally duress and the pain of possible punishment. You don't want to stand for the anthem? Don't stand for the anthem. I mean, really, I'll be honest with you. That you're being forced to do this? I have no respect for you. I don't. There's a big misconception that most people have, which is that the opposite of love is hate. It isn't. I'm telling you, it isn't. When you're still angry at a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a wife or a husband or an ex or whatever, believe it or not, you're still in love with that person on some deep level because you still care to the point that it aggravates you, it upsets you. The opposite of love is not hate. Hate, believe it or not, is still somehow a part of love. in its own twisted way. The opposite of love is indifference. It's when you don't care. When you don't care about your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend or your ex-husband or your ex-wife, then you really don't love that. You just don't care. I don't care. I have fallen out of love with the NFL. Something inside of me has snapped. It's a divorce. And I'm not bitter. I'm not. So you can mandate him to stand. You can force him to stand. You can give him a 2-game suspension, a 3-game suspension, a $100,000 fine. I know that many of you are only standing because you really have to, not because you want to. I'm done with you. And I honestly don't care, because you're not going to get me back. I don't love you anymore. You broke my heart, and you broke the heart of many in Middle America. Stand, don't stand, honey, I'm done with you. There's the door. Blank off. 617-266-6868 is the number. Let's go to Victor in Tewksbury. Go ahead, Victor.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Last couple of minutes you've been using the word hypocrisy, and I think it applies to you.
Okay.
And you call, what is that senator's name? McManiac?
Yeah, McManiac, John McCain. Yes, the guy.
McCain. He's the guy that was in prison for 5 years. And he's one of the veterans that you extol because the guys didn't raise the flag, but you have the nerve to call him McManiac. You don't like the way he votes? That's all right. But he's a maniac?
Yes, I'll tell you why. Do you want to know why, or do you just want to vent?
I'd like to hear why.
Okay, I'll tell you why. First of all, just the fact that you served doesn't give you the right to say anything that comes into your mind or advocate for the most ridiculous extreme positions. So this is a man who wants us to be in Iraq for 100 years. This is a man who wants a war with Russia over Syria. He wants us to shoot down Russian planes and lead us into World War III with Russia. This is a man who wants us to drop bombs on North Korea, potentially getting us into another war there. This man is the most reckless, belligerent warmonger on the face of the planet.
Well, do you give him
He's a maniac. I'm telling you right now, he's a maniac.
For serving?
The what?
Do you ever give him any credit
Yes,
for serving?
I've given him credit in the past, and I've told him it's time to retire, like about 20 years ago.
Right, that's a political statement.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hold on. No. I'll tell you this. Well, let me ask you. Yeah, right.
John McCain.
Right. Let me ask you this. Are you telling me that John McCain, I can't criticize him?
You know, what I think
Can I excuse me, sir.
You know what you said,
Sir, I'm trying to have a reasonable conversation. Answer this question. Are you telling me that we're not allowed to criticize John McCain? Bye-bye. He just hung up. So, I'm talking about the veterans who died. I'm talking about the veterans who sacrificed for this country. Just because he spent 5 years in Vietnam, and I credit him for that, no question about it, doesn't give you the right to call for us to occupy Iraq for 100 years, to bomb Iran, to bomb Russia, to bomb North Korea. This guy wants us in a war with every country on the planet. He's a reckless militarist and a warmonger. Now, I'm sorry, but what he fought for was the right for me to be able to express my opinion behind the microphone. So what? Just because this guy's a veteran, he can say the most outlandish, ridiculous things? By the way, had he won in 2008, there may not be a planet Earth. This guy would have led us into a world war with Russia. Are you insane? 617-266-6868. Jason in Chelmsford. Go ahead, Jason.
Jeff, if in fact the NFL owners are now going to be mandated to fine or possibly suspend their players for not standing for the national anthem, isn't that exactly what Donald Trump called for in the first place when he said, fire those sons of bitches?
Yeah, but Jason, here, look, I'm not trying to parse. I think what Trump, in fact, I know what Trump was saying is this. Look, it's your league. These players are disrespecting the flag and the anthem. Come on. It's the right thing to do, the patriotic thing to do. What the league is now doing is, well, we don't want to do that. Their response was clear. In fact, they all took a knee a couple of weeks ago, if you remember. Everybody took a knee. So they're only doing it now, not because it's the right patriotic thing to do. You see, the reasons are now everything. They're doing it because they're losing money. They're doing it because they're losing viewers and supporters. That's why they're doing it. They don't give a damn about the flag. They only care about one thing, their pocket. Okay, talk about a 180-degree U-turn. Boy, oh boy. So, Roger Goodell, the NFL, now says they want to mandate players, force them, compel them to stand for the national anthem. It's not because of patriotism, it's because of profits. Or rather, they're losing their profits. Skippy in Southie, you're up next. Go ahead, Skippy.
Jeff, I actually want to comment about that guy that got out of his car screaming at the fans. But let me just say before I say that. I agree with you 100% about McManiac. Right from the start, let me just tell you, my brother was killed in Vietnam when he was 18 and a half. I have the highest esteem for veterans, wounded, dead, alive, for any war. But this man, I only hope before he got shot down, he did an ounce of damage, anything to the North Vietnamese, to more than he's been doing in this country for however years he's been in there.
Well, Skippy, I don't want to cut you off because I know you're going to make a very good point. Let me just say this: he's a politician. He's not just a veteran. He's a politician. He's a political leader, and he's a warmonger who, by the way, shafted us on Obamacare not once but twice. So he needs to be held accountable as a politician. So these guys that are calling up my show, they don't give a damn about the vets. They don't even care about John McCain. They just don't like the fact now that when it comes to the NFL, we have been proven right. Go ahead, Skippy. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
Like I say, I agree with you, and I think he showed he was a coward when he couldn't take on Obama properly. Sarah Palin had more testicular fortitude than him. I think he's a traitor to the party. I really do think there's something wrong with him. I'm not wishing him any bad. I know he's suffering from cancer of sorts, but long before that, there's something wrong. But if I could get back to that other guy that he got out, took on the crowd. He's supposed to be a big 300-pound guy. You know, ever read the story of Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift?
Yes, one of my favorite novels.
With the Lilliputians, it's all they were small, they gathered in one effort, bring them down. I would love to see that crowd when you challenge them to all jump over that barrier like 1,000 bugs, climb on him, bring him down, beat the crap out of him, and then they could all take a knee on him.
Jim, you're up next. Go ahead, Jim.
Jeff, thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure.
Heartbroken? Yeah, I feel the same way about the NFL. Because it used to emulate pretty much close to the real working world. If you did not perform, you were out, okay? And the Patriots seem to hold an organization that if there was any crap at all, you were out, okay? And then this whole take a knee thing, Jeff, it comes down to this: being an ingrate. Where else in the world can you play a sport? And to play in the NFL, yeah, you got to be good, but it is an absolute privilege. And if you're going to take that privilege and stick it up the rear end of those who used to pretty much almost bow to you on a Sunday afternoon, oh, come on.
Jim, look, and they stuck it not just to the fans. They stuck it to those who fought and died for this country. And they're making, by the way, $10, $15, $20 million a year. They shouldn't be taking a knee. They should be kissing that flag. Okay, my friends. Boy, word of the show. The time just blew by today, huh, Brittany? All right, I got to go. Believe me, we'll have a lot more for you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 3 o'clock.